Behavioral contracts introduction. Before we go into example, a short introduction on how and why we should use the behavioral contracts. So one of the most efficient way to grow your business is basically to give your customer some sort of a reward for his action. So we've got the customer and then we've got the business. We want the guy to do some sort of action. So for example, write a nice review on you, refer you to another customer, etc. And for this, obviously, we are willing to give him some sort of a reward. Sometimes it actually might be a penalty. So you can imagine a scheme where for action which we don't like, we basically penalize him. So for example, the guy is late with his books. Then obviously in a more complicated schemes, you might have a situation where the action is still performed by the customer, but actually the reward goes to somebody else. So it can be going to some sort of other business or non-profit organization. So you can imagine charity, or to another customer. So for example, a friend of yours. So all of those things are happening. Now, when we look at the types of rewards that are being given. So obviously the first one is money in the form of a cashback, discounts, percentage discount, coupon, and vouchers, or sometimes even just some other money related things. So those are given to express the gratitude, but they don't link emotionally the customer to the business. So therefore, more often you've got used product related, some sort of a reward. So it might be a sample of a new product. So in this way, you also can launch new products faster. It might be more of the product for the current, so additional 20-30% of the product for free. Then you might be getting a better version of the product. The other thing is better version of the product as a reward for the action you have performed, or better customer service. It is quite often used by the airlines where they give you upgrades or additional services available if you are a loyal customer. Then obviously we have a longer usage of the product that is usually quite often used by subscription models and exclusive part of the product. So things that are available only for people who have performed certain action. And we've got the group of others where we've got the statuses, access to events, access to assets, for example, the lounge for airlines. And then we have other physical rewards that you can be getting from the company. And quite often used in the last few years is the personalization of the product. Now, the last thing worth mentioning before we go to examples is that sometimes those reward schemes can evolve into a specific set of rules and policies with specific targets. So the most popular probably is the loyalty program, where you basically want to get data on the customers in order to be better in retaining them, identifying heavy users, segmenting, and the end goal is basically to increase the so-called LTV, so the lifetime value, so basically how much we are earning from specific customers. Obviously, quite often as a part of the program, you get better access to the customers because you get, say, emails, their telephone, etc. When you should use it, basically, it's when the frequency of purchase is big enough. So a few times a year, it's okay. But if it's one purchase every 5 years, then it doesn't make actually much sense to go into loyalty programs. Brand matters in loyalty program, and it should not be commodity. That's another thing to be worth remembering when you are considering whether to use it or not. It also makes sense to build a loyalty program when data on the customer can help you to serve him better and increase the lifetime value. The other group is the so-called referral program. So basically, you want to acquire new customers by using your current customers while referring you to new customers. So those are very nicely received whenever the product can be a subject of the word of mouth, because the referral program, what it does is actually strengthens the word of mouth, but it cannot be applied if there is no natural tendency to word of mouth. The rewards have to be done in such a manner that they don't destroy the margin. So that's why referral programs are more often used with e-commerce or the SaaS business models. And obviously it requires a big segment of customers to be efficient because you have the statistics working there properly. The last group of policies or set of rules that are using this is the so-called the customer onboarding. So here you actually want the customer, by receiving the rewards for actions, to learn better the value of your product, how to use it. Because if he learns how to do it, he can stay longer with you. You also have the switching cost, because once he learns how to use your program, he's less likely to invest the same amount amount of time into learning a new product, how to do it. So this is a very good for acquisition, but it's much better for retention because you teach the customer how to use it. Obviously works very good with complicated products. That's why SaaSes are using, because you have a lot of features there and they cannot be used or understand properly at once. And it's worth using when you have a lot of search, so a lot of things are being searched around your product or all the problems that your product should be solving. So this would be, if you have a lot of Google searches on that, it would suggest that customer onboarding makes sense. And obviously, if it takes time and effort to master the product, it's also a clue that this sort of reward scheme can be used to build into your product. So let's go to cases and see how it works in practice.